Hey guys, and thank you so much for being here for the Twin Peaks chat for this week. I really enjoyed this episode. I'm hoping that I am live here. If you see me, let me know, because I actually double clicked on the stream live. It looks like one of the things that we finally, hi Ralph, thanks for being here. One of the things that we finally got confirmed was who is the father of Becky, who is Shelly's daughter, and we got the confirmation that Bobby Briggs is her dad. So I'm not sure if they were married at one time or they just hooked up and had, we know they dated. So I'm not sure. I don't remember them saying they got married, but we know that they did have a relationship. But what we didn't know is that Shelly has a new boyfriend who is not a good person, and that is Red, the really crooked drug dealer. Also, Ralph had predicted, if you remember, if you were here for the last live chat, that Miriam would survive her attack by Richard, and that actually happened. We saw her crawling out of some bushes. She did not look too good, but she's alive. So what that means is that Richard is definitely going to have to pay for what he did when he killed the child, and for also trying to kill Miriam and whatever else that he has done. Also, Chad from the sheriff's department was kind of helping him out. Not kind of. He did help him out by destroying that letter that Miriam wrote. So hopefully, at the very least, he will get fired. Hello, E. Kelly, and hello, Omar. Ralph says, the best was the old lady thanking Coop so near the end in the restaurant. The woman from the casino was so excited to see Mr. Jackpots, and she said she reunited with her son, which I have to think her son came back into her life because he wanted her money, because, she won a bunch of money thanks to Coop, but that was really sweet. I mean, this show does the best job of making special moments and tying everything together, and especially tying things together from like 26 years ago with the cherry pie imagery, and it's just, it's just perfect. Still, Dougie cracks me up. I loved how he could not stop eating and how he just repeats what everyone says, and because he does that, they think that he's understanding them and everything's okay with him, which is weird, but it's funny. Ralph says the Mitchums were moved emotionally by this, right? So they now believe that he is just this great guy because of the dream that the one guy had about the cherry pie in the box, and the cherry pie was in the box. And of course, he had a big $30,000 check for them. And they are all team Dougie now, and they think he's amazing. And they're like, oh, he's made such a difference in this woman's life, and it's so special. Omar says it was fun to see Norma again. Yeah, we just saw a little bit of her in the diner, but it's always good to see her around. I definitely miss her from the original series. Well, this is the original series, but from when it originally aired. And I love 30 million. That's right. I was like, wait, it's not 1,000. 30 million. Slightly different than 30,000. But I always enjoy the diner scenes. And of course, when we saw Shelly early on in the episode, I was excited. But I was very worried for Shelly when her crazy daughter was driving with her on the hood of the car. I mean, her daughter is literally out of control, and I was glad that I guess she wasn't too injured when she knocked her off. But that made me really nervous as well. So something that some of you might not have caught, and this was something Ralph pointed out, is that, so we know that Steven, who is Becky's husband, is having an affair with someone else, and that person happens to be the same person who played Donna Hayward's sister. So this is still Donna Hayward's sister because we're in the same show here, but for some reason, Donna Hayward's sister is apparently a drug addict, and I forget her name. Kirsten, is that her name? And is just not doing good things with her life. I mean, obviously, Becky has a very messed up life. The whole situation there is very messed up. Pineapple said Norma was doing her taxes. Thank you for being here. So we have that going on. I wanted to ask you guys what you thought about the child who looked like a zombie and was throwing up like green vomit. There have been some weird things going on in the past few episodes with some people with some weird issues, like the girl who had the scary rash in one episode. I don't know if that was last week. I can't remember. But I'm not sure what's causing this child to be super sick, but that was pretty freaky. Ralph says, we now know Shelly likes bad boy magicians that make things disappear. Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like Shelly never learned her lesson from liking bad boys, because we know her husband back in the day was a super bad boy. I don't think the only way that she can get even worse, or, you know, worse than what she's done and who she's dated in the past, is if she would hook up with Richard Horn. But I think he's quite a bit younger than her, but I guess it could still happen. But let's not go there. Let's hopefully she will not be with him, because he's very dangerous. Hi, Adulate. Thank you for being here. Ralph says Shelly's shoe flying off in the yard was hilarious. Definitely. I mean, I was really concerned for her, and I was just like, I don't see how she seemed to just kind of get over that moment and forgive her daughter pretty easily, because I don't know, like the next thing they were talking about giving her money, and I mean, her daughter has so many issues, and we know she's using it on drugs, so it was just crazy to me. I was just like, okay, like that was a crazy scene. You threw your mom, like you were trying to knock your mom off the hood of your car, or her car actually, and I just don't think I could forgive her that quickly. Adulate says, Shelly is your favorite character. Mr. Omar wants to see more of Nadine. Yeah, we did not see her in this episode, but we did see Log Lady again. And once again, this is all the scene that was filmed, I think, at one time. And they've just kind of split it up and have put it in various episodes, which I think is nice to still include her as much as they have in the season so far. Also, we had Gordon, like, almost being sucked into the vortex. And we had, why can't I think of his name, but the guy from Scream was just kind of blew up in the backseat of the car in that scene. So that was disgusting. Thankfully, they didn't. I thought they were going to show him, like, all disgusting, blown up, but they didn't. Ralph says Becky and Steve is Shelly and Leo repeating history. Yes, absolutely, because Steve is abusing Becky, and it's so sad that her daughter is repeating what she went through. Bill Hastings, yes. Katie, yes. This is the Twin Peaks chat. Truman Brothers. Remind me who the Truman Brothers are, Mr. Omar. Yes, so I guess it was a boy. Yeah, the boy throwing up gave you chills, says Adulate. Like, that was just, it definitely reminded me of something out of The Walking Dead, because it just, even if he were sick and vomiting, it was like he had his arms, like, it was very zombie-like. There was more going on than, like, a stomach virus, you know? So I'm not really sure what they're trying to hint at with that. But, like I said, they've had some weird health issues in the past few episodes, you know? So there's definitely something else going on there with the strange health issues. But Dougie, I'm wondering how much longer we're going to have Dougie around. Of course, I'm excited for Coop to come back. But at the same time, I think you guys know that I really love Dougie. I just think he's everything. So I will personally miss Dougie, but yes, the Mitchums are definitely like the new Ben and Jerry, and we're not talking about the ice cream here, but they are. I really like the Mitchum brothers. I think even though they're not good characters, like not good people, I do enjoy them. I haven't seen Blue Velvet, but Omar is saying Richard reminds him of Frank Booth, even though Frank Booth sounds so familiar. Thomas says, how good is Twin Peaks? Because you really want to watch it, but you have so many other shows to watch. Well, it is really good. My favorite part about it is just how special the characters are and just what they do with the characters. But there's some mystery involved in it too. The first 2 seasons are on Netflix if you want to watch. I watched them this spring all at one time, and then I bought the movie from iTunes, or rented the movie from iTunes, because the only way you can get it on Netflix is if you actually rent the DVD, and I don't think I have that set up on my account. So yeah, I knew that Becky's actress, who is Amanda Seyfried, was in Mean Girls. Absolutely. Yes, I've seen Amanda in a lot of stuff. Ralph says Dougie is great, but time for Dale to come back. Right, because we all miss Dale, right? I mean, it's been so long. But anyway, Thomas, I would suggest it. It just takes some patience, or at least it did for me, to get into it. And I would just say, you know, if you start watching it and you enjoy it, it's definitely, the payoff is good and it's worth it. But you do have quite a few episodes to catch up on, especially since we have had 11 episodes of this season as well. Omar says you hope Laura and Mrs. Palmer make more appearances in future episodes of Twin Peaks. Right, we've barely seen hardly anything of Mrs. Palmer and just a little bit of Laura. But yeah, I would definitely enjoy that as well. Ralph says, oh, you're talking about Leon? Leon coming back. That would be great. Ralph says the quirkiness and obscurity of Twin Peaks. Yeah, and that's just how it is, and that's kind of what's special about the show. And I just felt like last night's episode, with the emphasis on cherry pie and just tying everything together and bringing back the woman from the Mr. Jack. I mean, just everything that they do with the show is really special. The only time I didn't think that was the episode 9 or whatever, when it was like they were in space. But, you know, just to be honest here. But I do normally really appreciate and like the episodes, and you never know what you're going to get. Adulate says that you really miss Dale. I know. I mean, literally, it's been 26 years since we've seen him. So, I mean, I feel like I've seen him sooner than that because I watched him for the first time this spring. But Mr. Omar is asking whatever happened to Catherine Martell. And I believe that I read that the actress who played her was just, you know, I don't know how to say this and be nice. She was, you know, I think she's like in her 80s or something, and she's just not acting anymore. She was a big character, right, in the first 2 seasons. Ralph says you like how Twin Peaks has win moments or feel-good spots. Right. That's something that I fell in love with more than, you know, Who Killed Laura or anything like that. Like, which is weird because usually I'm drawn to shows based on the mystery and based on trying to figure out who killed whoever. But with this show, it's special in that way that it's not only trying to figure out mysteries and trying to figure out who did this or who did that, and there's some really evil people, but the fact that there's just such special feel-good moments with the characters, and that I feel like you come to really love these characters. I did for the first 2 seasons, and now to have almost all of them back and you still have those special moments, that's really neat. Oh, I didn't know that, Ralph. So Ralph is saying they did not want her back, that she wanted to come back. So I don't know what went down with that. I'd have to read more about that. I don't know if you know the reason why they didn't want her back, let me know. That sounds crazy if she really wanted to come back. We haven't seen Hank yet, Omar, but I know he's in the show, in the season. And we have not seen Audrey, which I say every week. But I know one of these weeks, let's see, we have 7 episodes left. So I know one of these weeks I'll be saying, oh my God, we've seen Audrey, or they talked about her or something. You know, it has to happen. I don't think we're going to go the rest of the season and never see her. I don't see that happening. So, but that's interesting about Catherine. I didn't know that. Yeah, and I guess the person who played her husband died, right? The actor who played her husband. Ralph says you could be scared one moment and laughing the next. Right, like all in one episode, and that's just what makes the show really special. Adulate says you don't think they will kill anyone else in Twin Peaks. Well, I mean, you never know with this show, like, honestly, you never know. Callie says Catherine's actress sent a note to David asking to come back. So weird. I wonder why that didn't work out. Adulate says Audrey is coming back in these last episodes. Well, we definitely think so. I mean, I definitely think she'll have to make an appearance in one or some of these episodes. Omar hopes there's a season 4. I mean, I really hope so. I heard early on in the 3rd season that yeah, right, Ralph, hold on, I'll get to that. But I heard early on that the ratings were not that great for this show for season 3. So I don't know, you know, I don't know what the ratings are like now. I haven't looked that up. So I would say that I assume that there would be a season 4, but I don't know. Does anybody know? I guess we could figure it out. I guess it would be 7 weeks from now is the finale. So I don't think, does anybody know that date? I'm terrible at figuring out the date in my head. Because I won't say anything till I know what the date is, if I'm going to be here or not. Sometimes things change at the last minute. But yeah, it really sucks for me when I'm not here when a finale happens. It usually happens every single time there's a finale of something. I am not here. So it just works out that way. I don't want it to be like that. It just happens. It's not good. Adulate says they said that Twin Peaks will have a 4th and final season. Really? Was that something that was on Twitter or that you read online? Honestly, because I would like to do a video about that. Fort Walton Beach Girl, hi, yes, how are you doing? Yes, American Horror Story is starting soon, and I just did a video about the season 8, I think, trailer. If you want to check that out, that's on my channel. Maybe you've already checked it out. But yeah, I'm really excited for that. And I've had a good summer. I hope you had too. Thank you for checking in here. But yeah, check out my trailer reaction to American Horror Story trailer because it looks really good, I think. Ralph said in the episode you feared for Gordon, Albert, and Tammy, it had an element of danger. I agree with you. I thought something bad was going to happen. I really did. Because we know we can't trust Diane, and she's making me really nervous, honestly. Callie says apparently the reboot didn't concern Catherine's character at all. She would have been in the series without a real plot. Well, I mean, I hope that's what's going on and it's not some kind of personal thing or whatever because she had such a big role in the first 2 seasons. So I kind of think it's weird that they couldn't put her in somewhere. I mean, like, she doesn't have to be one of the stars, but if she really wanted to come back, I'm trying to figure out, like, you know, why couldn't they just put her in just kind of like to be nice, like just for a little bit or something? Omar says if there's not going to be a season 4, you're not going to wait 25 years later for that. Well, honestly, not to sound morbid, but most of these people might not be here. I mean, we've already lost some of the cast, but I mean, obviously the younger people would be here, but at this point, if we wait 25 more years, I don't know. I don't know, you know, this is a long time to wait again. I don't think they'll do that. Ralph says Diane has to go. She's too dangerous. Right, I agree. And I know that's a famous actress. I don't know how they're going to handle that, but she scares me. But I really think that something is going to go down with her bad. Like, before she would die, I think she's going to do something bad. Like, honestly, definitely makes me nervous. Yeah, cool, Fort Walton Beach Girl. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Adulate. So, Fornia says live ratings don't really matter for this show. 50 million viewers live, but over 2 million, or you're trying to say 50,000, but over 2 million overall when you add streaming. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like there will be another season. Like, come on. We can't revive this after so long, and then if the people with the show, if David Lynch wants to do another season, I don't see why that wouldn't happen. You know, the only reason I think that it would end after these 18 episodes is that they don't want to do anymore, you know? Which is crazy. Like, I'm really interested to see how it will end forever, even though I'm not ready for that. Won't that be crazy? Like, when they decide it's actually going to end. Ralph says the reason Catherine is not around is because she sold the mill in the Secret History of Twin Peaks book. Right. Well, actually, I didn't know that. But I was thinking, I did know she owned the mill, but I didn't know she sold the mill. Okay. But I still feel like, well, if this woman wanted to be in the new season, they could have put her somewhere. Like, she could have just been walking into Twin Peaks, like the hotel, and eating dinner or something. Like, you know, she was a big character. Like, I just feel like, you know, she could have one scene. I don't know. Adelaide says if we have to wait 25 years, you'll be 36 years old. Whoa, you're so young. Oh my goodness. Okay. Callie says, did you know that Catherine was supposed to die burned in season 1? You thought she wasn't on the reboot because she was too funny for the Dark series? No, wait. Is that, or did that happen in season 2 when she almost died? I felt like that was in season 2 when, like, where, like, Shelly almost died and everything. Oh, so you're 20. Okay, but in 25 years, you won't be 36, though, right? You would be 40, you'd be 50. You'd be 50, right? Adulate? I'm like, whoa, hold on, how old are you? Oh my God. Yeah, okay. So Ralph says Ben Horn now owns the mill. Okay, thank you. Omar says you want to see Laura Palmer leaving the Black Lodge and stalking the people of Twin Peaks. That would be cool. Yeah, right. I want her to have, you know, more. I want her to be in this season more, right? I hope I'm understanding this right, Ralph. I don't know. I'm getting confused here. I'm getting confused. I'm like so confused. I'm like, whoa, okay. Maybe I misread some of the messages here, but if I don't know, maybe I'm doing the math wrong. I don't know. I apologize if I am. Like, wow, because in 25 years we're all going to be pretty old, right? I mean, maybe not really old, but I mean, I'm concerned about some of the cast members that are. I mean, like Richard Horn, like. Geez, that sounds terrible, but in 25 years, I don't think he's going to be here. Yes, so Ralph had a theory that he posted on one of my videos that Laura could actually be alive. Adulate, you're funny. You're funny. I was just like, whoa, how old are you? I know I have some young viewers, but it's like Twin Peaks doesn't usually attract like this super young people. Like, I don't know. Okay, Omar says, in season 2, she returned and revealed herself to Ben Horn. Right. Oh, okay. For some reason, you know why? I think it's because I watched all of those at one time. I get kind of confused. I mean, I know all the Laura Palmer stuff basically went down in season 1. Like, I know all that. But I forgot about the fire thing. I forgot when that took place. Fornia says, Laura is the one, though, according to the log lady. You think she's goodness incarnate, pretty much. Yeah, so I want them to do more with her character, and I would love it if Ralph's theory is true, that she is, like, it was her doppelganger. I think this is how it went, correct me if I'm wrong, that it was her doppelganger that was like killed, right, and that she's like trapped in the Black Lodge like real Laura, kind of like how real Coop was there. I think that's what you had said. Ralph says, what if Pete discovered Laura's doppelganger and not Laura? I think I was kind of saying what you had said in my video. I don't know. I'm getting like all confused today. But yes, I would love for her. That would be a huge twist for the show. That would be awesome. And definitely this actress is still around. So I would think that would just be majorly great for this series. How great, because we've all been waiting for, you know, Dale to come back, but what if we could have Laura back? Like, really? And I want her dad to be more in it, you know? I mean, I know I don't know what his deal is. Like, he's dead or he's in the lodge. I don't know. Isn't he in the lodge too? He's such a good actor, Ray Wise. I just need more of him. He's so entertaining. And I know he's not a good person, technically. Well, there's a lot of debate over that. Like, did he know what he was doing to Laura, or was that, like, Crazy Bob, or what? So there's quite a bit of debate over that, but I still would love to see Ray Wise back in the show. He was in the first episode, I think, of this season. Ralph says that would explain how Laura aged, or why Laura aged in the lodge. And I think that's really good. And I don't know if anybody else has thought of that, but I think it would be like, for me, it would have been such a surprise, like, you know, and it still would be very cool. I would have just been like floored, you know, I still would be. Callie says, Krista Bell, Tammy's actress, has to wait 2 years before telling her family she was an actress on Twin Peaks. Really? Why? I have no idea why. But man, I just felt like gosh, you know what I really like about Twin Peaks too is that so much of it is funny. And I just don't think that people would ever think that it would be funny. If you just kind of watch bits and pieces of it and if you hadn't watched, that's why you have to watch like all the episodes, because people have asked me like, can I just start watching season 3? And I'm like, no, like you'll have to be so lost, you know. Omar thinks it was Crazy Bob who was doing those horrible things to Laura. And that's what I think. I would hate to think that her dad was actually doing those terrible things. Leland, why did I call him Leon? I called him Leon earlier. Yes, so Ralph is saying Leland was good and was unaware of what he did up until his death. And that was kind of when he was, like, repenting and everything, like when he was dying. No, we don't need the barking. I'm sorry. Hi, Nick. Thank you so much for being here. But, yeah, I feel like Leland definitely felt bad for what he did, even though I don't think he really knew what he was doing. I'm sorry for the barking. It's, you know, at least I will say that this never crashes anymore. Is that not amazing? Since I quit using the Google chat to do these live chats. Because how annoying was that? If you guys, I know some of you guys were coming when we were having the crashing things every single time. So I have to say that this is so much better without the crashing. But yeah, I thought this, gosh, I loved it. And there have been some really good episodes this season, but this for me was the best. The dog is barking at one of the woodsmen. He sees the hobo, right? Run. Adulate says you can never stop hating on Bad Cooper. You're still so upset. Like, yes, because we didn't see him in this episode, and he is, oh, he makes me so angry. I'm excited for him to die or something bad to happen. Omar says you think he got killed by Bob in season 2. Are we talking about, who are we talking about? Leland? Ralph says this is why Leland flipped out and was upset. No, we can't be talking about Leland because he died in season 1. Ralph says this is why Leland flipped out and was upset, and Dale said it was okay to go to the light. Okay, yeah, but I mean, when I was watching it, you know, the first season, I was like, this man is the devil, and I had no remorse for him, but I changed my mind when we had like that scene in the jail. Well, that was season 2. Okay, see, I'm mixing all the seasons together. Nick asked me what's my favorite song that is played by one of the bands at the end of the episodes. I don't know their name, but I really like the all-girl band. I think they've been in more than one episode, and they really remind me of, like, the band that was in the original 2 seasons of Twin Peaks. If that makes sense. I know I should know their name. But I also found it very interesting that the crazy episode that I hated, like, featured 9 Inch Nails. And if you didn't know, like, Trent Reznor is much more than just a singer in a band, which was very popular. But he actually is working. He's been hired by Apple now. And he does a lot of stuff. And I think he's won some Emmys, some Oscars maybe, or at least he was nominated. Not Emmys. I think Oscars. Probably Grammys, but I just watched recently The Defiant Ones, which is a documentary on HBO, and he was in that, so maybe you saw that too. Elliot says, Kelly, you missed me. You're waiting for you to talk about one of your favorite shows. Well, a lot of the stuff that I watch is coming back, and I can't remember what you watch, but we're getting ready to start Riverdale and How to Get Away with Murder and some more stuff. American Horror Story. Callie loves Nadine's eye patch. I feel bad for her, you know, but I mean, my favorite was when she thought she was a teenager. That was really good. Elliot, it is a good show, but it takes some dedication on your part. Like, you have to binge the first 2 seasons and the movie, which I did this spring. But if you're willing to put in the time, it has a good payoff. Ralph says Trent Reznor also worked with Lynch in Lost Highway. So, yeah, I knew that David liked Trent because he did kind of a little tribute to 9 Inch Nails in that one episode. Okay, yeah, Scream is supposed to come back next March, so we're going to have to wait on that. But Riverdale and American Horror Story come back soon. AHS comes back in September. Agree. I'm very excited for American Horror Story. I covered all of last season on my channel, and I just did a reaction to the trailer for season 2. That's up on my channel if you guys haven't seen it. Okay, Midnight Texas. I've almost forgotten about that like 600 times. Is the new show on NBC that premieres tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern, and that looks like kind of, I would say kind of True Blood-ish, but I'm not really sure because I haven't read a lot about it, but it looks like vampires, zombies, things along those lines, but I do need to check that out, absolutely. Omar says, do you think the boy in New Mexico was Gordon Cole? Maybe that's how he lost his hearing. That's interesting. Interesting thought there. So, Callie, I think that they're doing a cult theme for American Horror Story and not an election theme. That's kind of what I'm getting from all the previews that they've had out recently. Adulate says the first episodes of The Return creeped you out thanks to the glass box. Yeah, that was really creepy. Like, that was seriously scary, honestly. And Adulate loves True Blood. I love True Blood. I did not like the ending for the series. I wasn't very happy with how that turned out because I really loved the show and I expected something better. But I did really like the show and I do miss it. Omar says because of the nuke explosion in 1940 something. Oh yeah, that actually could be why. That makes a lot of sense. I don't watch Teen Wolf. It's funny because so many people have asked me throughout the years to watch it and I just didn't ever watch it. Not because I didn't want to, I just didn't have time or whatever. But apparently it's finishing. So I think the guy that was on Pretty Little Liars who played Arya's brother is like the lead in that. But yeah, I'm so excited as always for next week's episode because we never know what's going to happen. So I just don't know if it can be better than this week's episode because it was fantastic. But thank you so much for you being here tonight. This was so much fun having this chat. And if you're new here, I would love it if you would subscribe and thumbs up this video. And I hope your week is off to a great start. And if you think of anything else you wanted to mention, this video should be up on my channel in 10 minutes. So you can make a comment there. But thank you guys so much again for being here. And I will talk to you soon. Bye, guys.